Hi. So today I have a very special guest, Dr. MaryAndres, who I think of as the Yoda of bisexual affirmative therapy. Welcome! I am so glad to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here again.
So today we're going to talk about something a little fun and uplifting.
Okay.
What are the positive things about being bisexual?
So many positive things. Not necessarily what gets put out there in the media. It's not like we double our dating pool.
Because we don't.
We don't. Part of looking at who we're attracted to, though, is finding that we have more options, as far as if you're falling for the person and not being constricted to a gender, there's more flexibility, there's more freedom in that. Mm-hmm. So I think that actually is a benefit. One of the things too is that it takes courage to walk outside of the lines, it really does. So if you're sitting in a room and everybody is just kind of making assumptions that everybody in the room is straight or everyone in the room is gay, and the fact that you don't feel that way and you're asserting that you don't feel that way, you just got a little bigger in some ways. You just got a little braver, a little bit more courageous in that coming out process. So that's definitely a benefit, because if we're brave in one area of our life, chances are we're going to be more courageous and brave in other areas of our life too.
So true.
So I definitely think that it's character building to be bisexual, because of that, drive to be authentic.
It's sort of like a practice authenticity when we come out.
Yes.
Each time. It's us being who we are in this aspect, and then because we have found the strength to do it here, we're more likely to do it in other places.
Right. Yes, we're building kind of this skill set, basically, of practicing authenticity, and that does make us feel more courageous in maybe being authentic in other areas of our life, of going against kind of what the mainstream tells us is okay.
Are there other things that perhaps?
Yeah, I think anytime you become part of a, outside of the mainstream, you're basically in a marginalized group. And I'm not saying marginalized in a bad way, I'm saying marginalized in a rare way, that you're in a smaller group. And so what happens is that participation in one smaller group sometimes makes us more respectful or conscious of folks in other kind of rare or marginalized groups.
Sort of like empathy.
Yes, definitely like empathy. It increases our capacity to just see and recognize, what's happening for different people, and feeling like, oh, I know what invisibility feels like. Right. So I might see somebody and want to pull them in and help them feel more included.
Okay. That's
activism.
That makes us feel kind of awesome, actually. Now, I was talking to you earlier, you're talking about self-actualization.
Yeah.
Like, how does practice authenticity lead to self-actualization? So,
if we think about what it means to slow down and really listen to what my heart tells me, how my heart speaks, and then I behave in a courageous way about that. That courage, if I can practice that in one area of my life, I'm going to be able to potentially say, all right, not only am I going to be real about who I'm attracted to and who I want to be in partnerships with, I'm also going to be real about what my other kind of callings might be. And that might be your artistic callings, it might be your political callings, it might be your intellectual callings. But that kind of choice to go against the grain, the grain being culturally what we're told to do, makes us stronger, and so if we're stronger in some ways, then we become more real and more tolerant or capable of being stronger in other ways. And that's really where self-actualization comes from, that idea of I'm stepping in and I'm living up to my full potential, and I believe that I have a capacity to do this, and so I'm exercising whatever it takes to get there.
And I know, as a previous psychology major in college, self-actualization is considered by some, Maslow, if a little bit of inside baseball there, about that is the pinnacle of being a human being.
Yeah.
And, you know, being bisexual, being able to practice authenticity helps us to become the highest form of human being we can. I mean, there's really no ways around that.
Sure, if that's what our identity is, and if we are repressing that identity, then basically we're putting a part of ourselves asleep, in a sense. We're denying or cutting off a part of ourselves. So we're not going to manifest our full potential. But if we're saying, this is real for me, this is who I am, and I'm going to be open and honest about that, then we are living our most optimal life.
And here's another point which I saw recently, and you let me know if you agree with this. There was a TED Talks video talking about frustration and creativity, and they were saying how there was a study done, groups of friends put together where they all knew each other, and there was a group of people put together where there's a set of friends and then one stranger. And whereas the groups of friends that were put together always felt like came up with the right answer and had a great time doing it, in actuality, the group of friends with the stranger came up with the right answer more times than not, and they had less fun times doing it. So it came across as those who are more frustrated, when you're in more frustrated situations, you end up with more creative answers. You often come up with the right answer more often than the groups who are comfortable in that situation. And as a bisexual, we get frustrated a lot. I mean, we get frustrated in dating, we get frustrated the way people deal with us. We're constantly having to navigate that frustration. And although we don't like it and we may not feel comfortable with it and we wish we could not be in it, ultimately that leads us to be more creative people, coming up with the right answers because we're forced to think about it, we're forced to negotiate, we're forced to do all these things. So as much as we'd like to avoid it, bisexuality leads to us making better decisions in many cases and being more creative in many cases.
More creative and more courageous.
And more courageous.
What you're talking about with that example is that there's this heightened arousal because of stranger danger, in a sense. You know, there's a new person in here, so I can't just unconsciously be a sheep, you know, who's just in the middle of the pack doing what's expected of me. I'm recognizing like, oh, I'm more awake because of something novel in my environment. And that novelty is I feel different as a bisexual than somebody who just feels like everybody mirrors my experience in the world.
Right.
You know, and so what ends up happening, and there's great research too about people who like will go abroad for a semester and they put themselves in situations that makes them think differently, and they have to be more courageous, and then they come back and they don't just fall into rank and file anymore. They do become more entrepreneurial. They do take greater risk in all areas of their life because they were willing to tolerate and acknowledge those differences.
And I mean, these aren't small things we're mentioning. These are all things that shape us as human beings, and these qualities are things that help benefit society in many great ways. So although you might wish that you did not have to go through the things that you went through, and wish things were easier, you're becoming a stronger, more enlightened member of society and human being because of it.
Yeah, that's a big part of personal growth.
That's not a small thing.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for talking about that with me.
Sure.
If someone wants to get in contact with you, because you are a bisexual affirmative therapist, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, I have a practice in Venice, and my email...
Venice Beach, California.
Venice Beach, California. And my email is MaryAndres@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like the video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. I do many videos on bisexual topic, but I don't do them on a regular basis. So when you want a new video, you have to click the little button that says, let me know when a new video comes out. Until the next video, stay cooler, my bisexual friend. Stay cooler. Bye.